Hi, welcome back to Spring CS170. I'm going to continue on with some more introduction and logistics here. As I mentioned in the previous lecture, I try to keep these video clips to be fairly short. Just put some good subjects on the top of them or tag them, and then it should be easier for you to go back and pick up on particular points that you need to review again. So you'll start to see that filling out, and I'll show you the media library in a second. Okay, so as you remember, back here on the home page, you'll see all these different, basically your key links here. And so the one that you care about is the asynchronous lecture with myself here. You can click on that, and I'll click on it in a second. And you have all this information here, which I'll go through in a second also. So if I click through here, hopefully it comes up, and yes, here it goes. And so you'll see here class materials, and then this is the first lecture that I just recorded before, and you just click on it. That goes to the YouTube version of the video. I also have it in the media gallery, which I'll go to in a second. And you'll see me adding on to this list here. Okay, if I go over to here, you'll see here media gallery. This is actually the media gallery from last semester, which I recorded. And you'll see what I did was I created like all these playlists here, and I'm doing something similar on YouTube also. So I'm creating different playlists, and you'll see like different topics here, and you'll be able to click on it. But let me go to this one here, and you'll see something like this. So you see the video here, and as usual, when you look at playlists, you'll see different things here on this side here. So there's multiple ways to get all the videos, but I'm trying to record them in small clips, as I mentioned, and just put them in convenient playlists so that you can easily find them or refer to them in the future. Okay, so on here you'll see the playlist for the media gallery for this semester. It's pretty small, right? I only recorded one video so far, but it'll start to grow, and hopefully it's nicely organized so that you can look back on this when you need to look up particular topics to study for your exam or work through your assignments. Okay, so yeah, we just have the one here. Okay, so let me go back to the home again. And probably many of you actually saw I posted an announcement here too. So what I intend to do is every time I record a video, I'll upload, put into all the different playlists and whatnot, but I'll also make an announcement here. And I'll go to that in a second. Here, I'm going to click on this just to go back to the file section here. So click here for class materials, right? And that essentially goes to the files and then my name under the files, but this is a quick way to get to it. So you can see we just linked over to the files, and then my files are here. Okay, so I have the professor view. That's why you see all these different things here. When you go to it, all you'll see is this one PDF, which is the PowerPoint that I'm going through right now for the introduction. Okay, but you'll start to see all of this start to fill in a little bit later on. Okay, we come back to the home. I'm gonna close up these guys here. Okay, so let me see here. Go to the announcements. And you'll see here, Professor Trees made the introduction announcement. I made my announcement to the 10 sections that I cover, which is section 16 through 25. I'll just go in here so you can see that. Okay, so I did the introduction. I gave you a little link here just to go to the media gallery, but you can see it here on the left-hand side. And then I also attached a particular video. So like I said, every time I complete a video, I'm going to post out to the announcements just for our section, so you'll be able to see that. Okay, and then if you miss any of them, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You can come back into my section, and you'll see all of the videos that will be listed. Back to here. Okay, so you come back to here, and again, you'll see all of my videos. Okay, so here, let me click on the course syllabus, which kind of coincides with some of the stuff here. So you'll see stuff like, you see it says syllabus here, exam dates, right? So you'll see stuff here related to this, related to the point distribution. While we're here on the grade, I'll just kind of point out a little bit. And I think with how we're running the classes now, in terms of how we weight the exams versus doing the assignments and recitations and quizzes. And just to be clear, these quizzes, they're not meant to be hard quizzes. They're meant to be like very quick, easy quizzes. And if you miss them, what we'll do is we'll open up all of the quizzes for a short period of time towards the end of the semester. So you happen to miss a quiz, you can make up a quiz and stuff like that. But you can see, look at these point distributions here. For these easy quizzes, if you basically just show up and just do those quizzes, again, they're very easy quizzes. You basically can make up essentially more points than what an hourly exam is, okay? And also, if you look at the assignments, if you look at all these assignments, you just do your assignments again, and even recitation project, right? It all outweighs the cost or the points that you get for all of these exams here. So you can see, based on like our current remote teaching type of situation, remote exams essentially, we've tried to place less emphasis on the exams and more on these other things which you can do, you can turn in. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, if you basically just put in the time, do the work on the class, there's no reason why you shouldn't get a good grade on this class. Okay, the exams, they're going to be open book exams and whatnot. So I think we'll do our best to try to prepare you and to have a really a good class and get a good grade coming out of this class. Okay, I'm going to go through a few more things here. So, I mean, the other thing you can notice here is we have a lot of extra credit, right? If you look at this, if I add up all of your extra credit, if you tick the boxes for all of the extra credit, that's like 20 points right there, right? And if you look at these here, 20 points can really make a pretty big difference and jump you, from one grade to another grade. So, B to B plus or B plus to A, whatever, right? And so in my and each of the professors are doing their extra credit maybe a little bit differently. The TAs tend to do their extra credit, tie it a bit to your attendance. So for the asynchronous class, you might think, oh, we don't take attendance. Actually, for the TAs, they actually will be having attendance, but it's just a matter of you watching the video and answering whatever questions they may provide. Each of them does it a little bit differently, but that's essentially how you're going to get your extra credit. For me, I'm not going to take attendance in class, but I am going to put miscellaneous questions, random questions. Again, they're not meant to be hard questions. Random questions throughout the videos. And if you answer those questions, submit it to me via email. Basically, I'll track all of that. And if that looks pretty good in terms of your engagement with the class, essentially answering those questions, then you'll get the extra credit from me for those 10 points. Okay? So again, extra credit makes a pretty big difference. It'll lift your grade up potentially, from let's say a B to a B plus or a B plus to an A. Okay, and that's really what we want to see, right? We're doing our best to make sure everyone can do well in this class, right, and give everyone everything they need to be successful with this class, hopefully. Okay, so and you'll see a lot of that assignments here, right? So the assignments, I mean not the assignments, the syllabus, okay? Um, so my browser is not, oh, here we go. So you'll see all of that stuff here, okay? And it's laid out in much more detail than this PowerPoint. So, you know, I do encourage you to go through all of this. So you can see here, basically all the topics. I'll try to line up my playlist to match up to all of these, okay? You know, academic integrity is a pretty important thing. You know, in case you haven't heard, I would just say that it's pretty much, with everything being online, it's pretty easy for us to see if people are copying, you know, copy pasting and editing and whatever, right? You know, the Canvas system, which is where our exams and our assignments are done, has pretty extensive logging capabilities. So it pretty much knows like exactly what you put into the system, what time you put the stuff into the system, and it's pretty easy for people to run a comparison across everything that's been submitted electronically and look for similarities. Um, and yeah, I would just caution everyone that you know, it's taken pretty seriously. You know, in the prior semesters, uh, we did catch uh, double-digit numbers of people, uh, and they were formally placed with the academic integrity issue on their formal record. Um, so, and of course, they got a 0 for the exam. So, or the assignment, whichever one. So, you know, you need to really be careful with this, right? It is taken pretty seriously, and you know, if you go, it goes beyond the first infraction. You know, it steps up pretty quickly to you know, a pretty senior level review, and you really don't want to have that happen. Okay, especially for a class like this, which there's no reason why you shouldn't do well in the class on your own. Okay, let me try to scroll through here. Canvas tools. All right, so I went over the announcements, the modules. I'll click on the modules in a second. The assignments is how we do the assignments. You'll see what assignments are due and be able to submit it. Grades to see your grades. Syllabus, which is what we're looking at right now. Piazza, which is what I was encouraging everyone to try to use that to channel your questions. So really, any questions that you have in particular, like maybe you want to schedule an office hour with myself or with one of the TAs, or you know, something particular to your situation, that's fine. Just send us an email directly. But if it's more like a question about an assignment, like, you know, I don't understand this question or something like that, we really do encourage you to go to Piazza so that there could be, you know, common knowledge shared. There's going to be people in the class that probably have the same exact question. So let's all answer it in one place and deal with it there. Okay. And of course, I mentioned in the last lecture, this is the required text. You know, in the past, people have asked me if you can get their prior version. I think it's okay. You just might want to just double check a couple times. If we're referring to particular questions or some material from the book, you know, you just double check if it may be slightly different in their prior version, but that shouldn't happen too often. So generally, it's kind of okay to use the prior version. Okay. Let's see here. Get the assignments. Oh, okay. So the second chance policy, which again, I'm covering stuff here at this high level. It goes into more detail in the syllabus, so you can click on that later. Okay. So the exam second chance policy, all that means is like you'll see when I break down the schedule, you'll see that there's 3 kind of different topic areas that hit on the exams for the first hourly, the second hourly, and then for the final exam. So you know, in the first hourly or the second hourly, you know, the final exam is going to basically cover everything, right? Maybe a little bit more emphasis on the third section, but it'll have material from the first two sections. And so what that means is that, let's say you took the exam one, and you did okay, but not great. But if you took the final exam and you did better on that section one of the final exam than what you did on the first exam, then we'll take that score, right? So the score, let's say, I don't know, let's say you got 100 in the final exam for that section, then you'll get 100 for that first hourly exam. So that's what we mean by second chance policy. Now, it doesn't mean that you can just skip exam one, get a 0 for it, and then hope that you can do well with the final exam, section one. So you had to have taken exam one for you to be eligible for the second chance policy. And if you happen to do poor, you do worse in the final exam, let's say section one, you can't, it doesn't go the other way. You can't just say, well, I did pretty good on the first exam, let me apply that to the final. So it only goes one way. It goes from the final exam towards either exam one or exam two. Okay, so that briefly talks about how the second chance policy works. But again, this is usually most people do end up doing better on their final exam for these sections versus the first time. So it only really benefits people, okay? Again, you just have to show up, right? Just show up and do your thing, and you'll be given a good opportunity to make sure you get a good grade in this class, okay? Let me see here. Did I miss anything? I got everything here. And let's go back to here. We'll get more into the quizzes and whatnot, how to access. I mean, you just click on it to access it, but um, I'll deal with that a little bit separately. The modules is this other section here. Right, and it's the same type of stuff that you saw back in the homepage area. You'll see the general course information, right? And you'll start to see the different weeks here. You'll see some of these are, again, this is the teacher version, so you can't really see all these things here, but you'll start to see things popping in as we go. So we're here, right? And you'll see like the week one resources PDF, okay? So you can kind of click on that. Let me pop up the student schedule PDF while I'm here. I think I'm running this video a little bit longer than I plan to, so let me just finish with this thing here. And then the next video will really get into things, okay? Okay. I know it's a little bit small on the screen here. Obviously, you can just click on it yourself, and you'll see the bigger version. Let me just zoom some more. I guess you don't need to see every single thing on one page. Yeah, it's still kind of small. But anyway, you'll see all the different weeks here, and you see these different colors. These essentially correspond to the material that will be on the exam, right? So this white part will be section one, or the first exam. This will be for exam two, and then this will be the last part of the final exam, okay? So you'll see like things like spring break here, and you'll see here's like the topics, here's like the corresponding chapters here, this is the week. You can see the assignments, and we have the post date, we have a due date, and we have accept until date. So what that means is that you can do your assignment, you can make it submitted by this due date here. If for whatever reason you're late, you can submit it to the following week usually, right? But you're only going to, the maximum number of points you're going to get is half credit. You're not going to be able to get full credit, right? There is an exception. We have something called a free late. So except for this first one, this is kind of meant to be just a quick intro because a lot of people are going in and out of class. So the free late means if you have, you know, some sort of crazy situation, emergency situation or whatever, you know, you can use what we call the free late, and that means we'll take your late assignment and grade it for full credit, okay? You know, really, I would just take it as exactly that, to use for an emergency, right? I wouldn't take it, oh yeah, I don't feel like turning it in now. I'm going to do something else, and I'll use that free late. It's really meant to be, if you have some sort of emergency situation that, or whatever, that kind of pushes it back and you use it. You only get one of these anyway. Um, so be be prudent as to when you're going to use that free late. Okay, you only get one shot with that. Okay. So again, we try to be accommodating to give some people some opportunity to be able to make up points if needed. Okay. I think I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's going on. Well, I think with this asynchronous mode, and for people that I mentioned in the last video, asynchronous mode doesn't mean that we don't care about attendance, and it doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything. You do have to watch all of the videos, try to watch all of the videos, participate in the assignments or labs. So as I covered in the last lecture, you have a whole bunch of like lab hours, recitation slots, office hours, and we can also make different hours to accommodate your schedule. So whatever it is, just give us enough advance notice and we'll make the time to meet with you. So don't take the asynchronous mode to mean like you don't have to meet with us and you don't have to do anything, just show up for the exam or whatever, turn in the assignments. So do try to participate in class. We do encourage it. That's why we have the extra credit set up the way we do. And we try to set up the assignments and we try to set up the quizzes and whatnot so that it encourages you to interact with the class. With the Piazza, posting to the forums, again, trying to interact with other students in the class. Okay? So do take a look at all of this. Let me know if there's any questions. The next video I'm going to record will give some background about myself, give some background about the material we're going to cover in the class, so on and so forth, right? So all the stuff we've just been covering now is really more just course logistics. If I missed anything here, do feel free to give me a shout or post it on Piazza and let me know if there's any issues. Okay, thank you.